welcome to Girl, Are You Okay? I can't breathe. This is a podcast about two 20-somethings living in Los Angeles talking about anything and everything.
Hi, I'm Ayesha.
I'm Abeera, and we're both wearing
Green.
and St. Patrick's Day socks.
Right. I love it.
And oh yeah, our headbands. We have
Our
to
headbands.
acknowledge our
We have
headbands.
to acknowledge the wild, you know.
What is this?
I'm like
We're
trying
just
to
looking
find
at each other.
words.
Oh yeah, because people might not be able to see, so we need to explain what we're wearing.
We have to explain what we're wearing. So when I look at Abeera right now, she is wearing a green headband with two clovers, like if you think of two ears almost.
Yeah.
But each ear is a clover.
Correct.
And there's like these
Noodles?
noodles, like for something about it is reminding me of those like
Pool noodles.
those pool noodles. For some reason I was going with like a car dealership, those like things that go flying in the wind.
Oh, the wacky wavy guys.
The wacky wavy guys.
Yeah.
But that's not exactly accurate.
No, because it is the texture of them because they're a little bit like a coil.
It's just crazy
vibe.
looking.
They're like straws. Maybe
It's-
straws?
It's almost like a multitude of green straws.
We have a lot of...
There's a lot going on here.
What are these called? Octopus?
Yeah, we have
Tentacles.
We have a headband with two clovers and a bunch of green tentacles.
And if you aren't watching the podcast, it's probably going to be all over Instagram at some point.
Yeah, you'll see us.
Yeah.
We'll make this everyone's problem.
And I also think it's rightful? It's appropriate, thank you, for us to acknowledge that it is fully not St. Patrick's Day when we're recording this, but it will have already happened by the time you listen to this episode.
And this is entirely in service of what we talked about before about wanting to celebrate more.
Yeah.
So I am thrilled for a
And
reason.
what is the next big holiday after Groundhog Day, you ask?
St. Patrick's Day?
There you go. Yeah, don't
It's
you forget
also
it.
Women's History Month?
It is. Have you been wished?
No.
Neither have I.
Happy Women's History Month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big fan.
Big fan, yeah. Gosh, people these
Finally.
days.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's also, oh yeah, we should also name that our mic covers are also green.
They're green.
Yeah.
As Abeera pointed out, it looks like two peas in a pod.
Podcast.
In a podcast.
Two peas in a podcast. What else? Okay, so Charlotte the Stingray still pregnant as ever.
Yeah, I think like you were saying, she's trying to like milk this out, gain some followers.
Yeah, she's trying to get her fame in.
Her 5 minutes of fame are turning into like,
And you know,
longer than that.
as women, I'm sure we can understand that you know, everything is our fame and our beauty is temporary. So I think, you know, our society tells us that rather. Yeah. So I think Charlotte is just like really trying to
Just to keep it going.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
on that note, for a moment, like I saw something about how Pamela Anderson is like so gorgeous, even though as she ages. And I heard that she stopped getting Botox and is allowing herself to kind of
I
age
love
more
that.
naturally. And that kind of speaks to the disgust charm that she still has. So
yeah, I think
like
I love that. And I also, you know, I think at my core, I believe like whatever makes you feel good, do. Right. Like if that means getting
Oh,
Botox
yeah,
or
like,
if that means getting filler.
not to denounce any
Yeah,
like,
but then also if you want to
cosmetic.
age gracefully and see all the things happen, that's beautiful too. So I love that.
there's no right or wrong way. Like
No.
who knows? I don't even know what my plans are when it comes to that.
Seriously, I mean, every now and then I'm like, maybe I just throw a little something in there, but then I backtrack and I'm like, I'll wait.
I'll wait. Like it's okay. And then like again, living in LA, it's like I think
You're constantly surrounded by people who do get something done.
you know, which like we said before, good for them, but it
Yeah.
almost in some ways sets maybe a standard of what maybe
Well, it's a little trendy almost. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe it's not, but it feels very trend focused in a way because it gets mixed in with other things. I don't know. That's my perspective.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, you do you. And a lot of these things are temporary. So it's not even
Yeah,
a
like
commitment.
even like lip filler, I've heard like dissolves over time.
Or you can get it dissolved.
You can get it
Yeah,
dissolved.
so-
And like in some ways, like how is that any different from me changing the color of my hair?
Mhm.
Which like is semi-permanent, and then I could always cut my hair. I could always dye over this.
Yeah.
If you can't see me, I am very much a brunette, but my hair is like
White.
white. I've bleached it to
Yeah.
oblivion.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. And I think it's such a fun thing to do because you also have a beautiful base now to go crazy with it if you wanted
Sometimes
to.
I think about that. I'm like, me and my partner were going through like our junk drawers essentially, and I found like a bottle of blue hair dye. And I was like,
Fun.
can you imagine? I just dumped this on my head right now.
And you could, because usually, I mean, would it be temporary, like temporary dye or?
It was like, what is it called? Punky color. So I don't know what would happen, but I would be very scared.
I do know that blue dye typically
Goes green.
Which
It would
you
be
could do that
fitting.
now. And then by the time St. Patrick's Day comes around, you're going to be on trend.
Yeah. Let's not.
Okay. We'll table that.
We'll table that, but
Reddit.
I have always thought like if I'm ever like an old lady with naturally white hair, I really think like I'm going to dye it pink. I'm going to dye it blue,
So fun.
purple.
Like
why
the
not?
like the green woman on TikTok.
The green woman,
She'd
if you're
love
watching
us today.
If you're watching, we just want you to know, like, I hope you can appreciate just
Us
our
today.
outfits
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
We're channeling you. You are the green queen.
Yeah. We need to find her handle and like
And tag
shout it
her.
out because I don't necessarily know what her name is.
I'm guessing Green Lady New York or something.
Okay. Well,
We'll find you.
I hope everyone knows what we're talking about because she
How
is
can you
truly
not?
iconic.
She's an icon.
Yeah. Yeah. Jinx. But yeah, okay, so just wanted to like keep us updated with the current events as we are experiencing them. I think hopefully by the time this episode gets released, Charlotte will have given birth and we will have an answer.
An answer to our previously posed questions.
But we did post a poll on our Instagram.
We did.
To get everybody voting on what they think will be birthed.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the outcome primarily?
I think the majority of people said that we were about to have the second coming of Christ.
That's right. It was for a while there. People were just saying like it was going to be Stingray babies, like that she just fertilized her own eggs. But then I think some people started coming through.
Right. With some, because I was like, yeah.
The Christians,
Our Christian audience.
Our producer just said the Christians started coming through with the Christ votes.
Yeah. I mean, I voted for that.
I did too. Is this problematic? Okay. However, yes, I love it. Whatever does happen, Charlotte, we're here for you.
We're here for you.
Good
We're
vibes
rooting
being
for
sent
you.
your way.
Are you gonna get an epidural? Because I heard that can be gnarly.
Highly recommend, based off of what I know.
Is she gonna Is she gonna have to have a C-section at this point? Because I know, I mean,
Based off of what?
well, with humans, I know if you're past.
Wait, is she overdue?
Because when we last talked about her, she was due any day.
Oh,
So I'm at this point, I'm like, what's going on?
I don't know how that works.
I was just thinking, because I know when like humans are pregnant and they're past their due date, they start to like induce labor, or they kind
Have you
of.
ever seen stingrays give birth?
No. Have you? I'm guessing you have.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen like videos, but it wasn't like a natural birth. It was like somebody in a ship or like a boat, like pushing on like the uterus, I guess, of a stingray, which we found out stingrays have 2 uteri. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So answering our question last time, but like they have multiple at a time, I believe.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like a couple.
Yeah.
And right, they were saying that she could give birth up to 4. Up to 4
That I
stingray
don't know.
babies.
However,
Something.
that's a great question. I think that's our next point of research, is to figure out if she's going to need to get a C-section or be able to birth naturally. We're very invested.
We're very invested, but
Does she have a doula?
Does she have a midwife?
Is she being well supported?
I hope so.
What I mean, does she get maternity leave?
These are excellent questions.
I mean,
Charlotte, we're advocating for you.
Yeah. It's Happy Happy Women's Month. I don't know if it's national or international, but Happy Women's Month. Charlotte, you are in our thoughts.
You're in our thoughts. And I think our producer, was just saying there is no scheduled due date at this point.
No scheduled due date. 1 to 6 pups. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it, folks.
There you have it. So
thank you for tuning in. See you guys next
time. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. So how are you going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Or how did you celebrate St. Patrick's Day by the time this comes out?
Okay, so there is this Irish restaurant really close to us that I've gone to once before. You could call it a pub. I tried to do an accent, it didn't work. Anyways.
It didn't land. It's okay.
It didn't land.
It's okay. Don't worry. Moving on.
There is this Irish restaurant, and the last time I went there, the owner was very interactive with us. And this man is like an authentic Irishman.
Ooh.
And he had the best accent ever.
Yeah.
And I was just in love with the experience and how welcoming he was.
I feel like you don't meet too many people from Ireland.
Right. And especially with I think maybe many people have some Irish descent.
Yes, but they've been here for ages.
For ages. So having this guy, there was something refreshing about it.
Yeah.
And I would just love to support his business. And I think I would have.
Do you want to give the business a shout out?
What's it called?
Oh no. Awkward.
Oh, it's called the old fellow. So spelled with an Irish accent. So AULD, I believe, the old fellow. The old fella. The old fella.
All right. Cool. Yeah, no, I think that's the beauty. I think why people love Los Angeles is because you get to meet people from so many different places. So it
definitely
gives you that warm feeling when you do. Yeah.
As much as I'd like to say, again, I've mentioned before, I'm from Florida, which comes with its many critiques. I know, I'm with you. And at the same time, I do like to kind of advocate for the diversity you'll see in Florida, right? I will say though, coming to LA, I'm like, holy crap, the amount of diversity that probably is within our entire state can be just seen in this city. And I think there's something incredible about that. There's so many different, types of food and, you can
get anything.
You can get anything over here. There's even a little Pakistan out here somewhere, I believe.
Artesia.
So there's just something about that I'm
represent.
like, yes, represent. And that's what I love in the few years that I've been living here. So shout out LA. We love you.
We love you. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's fun. I love that. Maybe I will check out that restaurant as well because I have no St. Patrick's Day plans.
We could go try finding a rainbow with a pot of gold at the end.
Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever had these experiences in childhood where it's I feel like that was such a big part of my upbringing. Every March, and I don't know if your preschool or elementary school ever did this, but they would make little green footprints around the school for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my God.
It was just this, and they would never wash it out. So it would just be there throughout the year until the end of the year happens and they do their big school cleanup or whatever.
So funny.
But I don't know. It was just such a big thing that we celebrated. And I feel as you get older, it kind of goes away and it's sad.
Your school definitely maintained the spirit of the leprechaun. And I don't think we had green footprints, but we did have those bags of gold chocolate coins, I think.
Yes.
Had a presence, and the whole wearing green, trying not to get pinched if you're not wearing green.
Yeah.
That was a real thing.
That's traumatic. I remember like forgetting to wear green one year and having to lie and say like, my underwear is green, guys. And then like, show us. And I was like, no, like HR.
Oh my God. No, like I think I'm curious. I want to like maybe ask somebody who is like currently maybe in like
elementary school
to middle school. I do have a brother who's actively in middle school.
Okay, there we go. I
can ask
I don't
him.
think any of our listeners are hopefully aren't actively in elementary school. I think
That'd be a little young.
Yeah.
Wait a few years. I wonder if St. Patrick's Day and the whole wearing green thing is taken as seriously nowadays as it was for us.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Did you ever get
the same
pinched?
tournament.
Or were you always good about wearing green?
I think I was good about it because I love like a theme. I've always
so
loved
do
that.
I, but I think one year it just
Yeah. I mean, I probably have, but I don't think I was lucky enough to not get pinched.
Oh my God, does that go into our next segment?
I think it does.
We really want to talk about this in spirit of St. Patrick's Day.
Lucky girl syndrome.
I didn't know what this was until very recently when Ayesha like brought up that we should maybe be talking about this for St. Patrick's Day, and I went into like a little bit of a deeper dive in on TikTok.
You know, that being said, you know, I do not claim to be an expert on this topic. I think on TikTok I had been like, gotten some, content around this, and so I think we're gonna give a very like basic.
Yeah, like maybe our
understanding of
too.
what our takeaways are with this.
Do you want to go ahead and explain what your interpretation and bounce off of that?
Yeah. So, my understanding of lucky girl syndrome really has to do a lot with like manifestation and kind of, putting out there what you want to receive in the world and essentially like being lucky in that way. And I think there's a lot of intention. Like when I set the intention for this thing, good things or that thing itself will come my way.
Right. And I think to put it very like straightforwardly, like this is how I was seeing people do it, which was like, I'm the luckiest girl in the world. I attract like good things, and good things will always happen to me, and everything I ask for will happen, essentially, like kind of with that mindset.
Right. Like I think what is meant for me will come find me.
Yeah.
Good things are coming my way. I think things like that, and
I agree that it's fully like it feels very manifestation heavy, but I also feel like what came through to me is more so in that first part of like, I am the luckiest girl in the world. I almost feel like you can tap into some gratitude with that too, which maybe is just more mental health related.
Yeah.
And I love that part because I feel like, and call it cringe, call it cliche, but like when I truly do like a gratitude exercise, I feel so good.
I think it was very recently because, we are in the mental health industry field. So
Industry.
it is an industry.
It is,
Unfortunately, I'd heard a lot about gratitude lists, and there was always something about them that kind of made me shudder and like I didn't want to participate until there was this one point where I was really up in my head. I was upset and I was thinking like nothing really works out for me. I haven't gotten what I've wanted in my life. And then I actually think I was in the bathtub when this was happening. And then there was a moment where I was like, actually, like, let me hit rewind. What has worked out for me? For example, like the place I'm currently working at, this was like my first choice place of employment and I got that job. Or I wanted to be able to get into a school in Los Angeles and that happened. And then suddenly it was almost like all this light was filling inside of my being. And I had such like this really significant release of weight off my shoulders and so much pressure got alleviated in that moment of holy crap, like I'm actually so grateful for all these things I have. So it works, people.
No, because I think when you get the things that you want, they obviously will become your new sense of normal. And with normalcy and with anything in life, it's not always going to be all good or all bad. So sometimes, of course, like what shows through is maybe the more negative things because we feel those a little bit more deeply sometimes. And you forget the other parts. And
is manifestation something you personally believe in and engage with?
So interestingly enough, I do, like, short answer, yes. But it's a more recent thing. And I don't know if it's because I just learned more about it recently, but I think it happened a lot around COVID, perhaps, where I just, I think the I think TikTok.
Right. I was going to say, because I would say I am very similar in that I also started learning about this during COVID. And then the direct tie-in is, where was I learning this from?
TikTok.
TikTok. This is where I also learned about astrology really for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think because we had more time and space on our hands, it gave us the opportunity to kind of learn about things that maybe we wouldn't have kind of paid as much attention to in the day-to-day life.
I also wonder if we were just like in such a shitty place that we were like, let's try to manifest
to believe in.
something.
We needed some manifestation.
Hope. We needed hope on steroids, essentially.
Right, because we went into this actually, speaking of, I think the lockdown went into effect on Friday the 13th. I believe
it was in March. Oh my God.
It was March
Are we
13th.
Celebrating the anniversary of COVID as we speak? Like, it's around that time.
It's around that time.
Yeah.
It's been
4 years.
4 years. That's crazy. So in that way, I think I believe in, what is it? Friday the 13th is what, superstition and stuff. And we went into it thinking, oh, we're having a 2-week lockdown.
LOL.
And so which turned into, well, you all were there.
Right.
I don't need to explain that.
Yeah.
And so,
and if you weren't, where were you and why wasn't I invited?
Right. So I think, just the hopelessness that was present during that time. I think, maybe we're not alone in that we needed to find a way to invite some more positive things into our lives.
Yeah. Does, I feel like with the manifestation stuff, I was like trying to get my parents in on it a little bit. And I think it was a little bit harder for my dad too, because he is a little bit more on like the religious end of things, and not like to a big degree, but like there's a little bit more of that in him
for sure.
But he like fully, like, we've all like written manifestation letters together. So I think he's more open-minded to it, but do you feel like there is a clash?
I think that's a great question, because although I don't entirely, how do I phrase this? I think religion plays an important role in my life. And I think there are some correlations between the two. I really do believe if I were to ask God, or, you could also call it the universe.
Yeah, sure.
For something, I truly do believe that it can happen. Like, I really do. And so I think maybe manifestation is just different language for that same thing. And so,
do you think it's the asking of the something, or do you think it's the putting it like voicing it out versus, like, I don't know, or is it the same? I don't know.
There's also the piece of, I don't know if this is also a religious component or just something I was raised within my family, but it was always really important to us to set our intentions, right?
Oh,
and I
cool.
think that's also kind of speaking something into existence in that way, where
totally
I set the intention to, lead a successful life or treat people with respect or whatever it is. I mean, maybe that's not, or like kind of to be successful in this specific way. I want to be able, I set the intention to do what I can on my part, at least, to get the things I want in my life. And then I think there is some self-fulfilling prophecy type things that can happen when you tell yourself what you want. I think it's easier to fulfill that in a way.
I don't know too much about manifestation, so I don't know if this will like step on any toes, but I don't think that your lucky girl syndrome is going to start and end with you writing a letter or voicing it. I think that there's still work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my perspective. I don't know what true manifestation believes, but
I mean, I think here's an loose example. Maybe let's say I want to manifest or set the intention to make more friendships or to develop closer relationships with the people around me.
Yeah.
If I lock myself in my bedroom, that's not going to necessarily happen.
Totally.
Right. So there is,
I like that example.
there is like this hand in hand component of, yes, I can identify what it is that I want. And also I need to take some action in kind of acquiring that thing is how I feel.
I agree. That's exactly how I feel.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I wish I had a fairy godmother.
Yeah.
That I could still stay locked in my bedroom and with this magic wand have all these deep, meaningful, connected relationships in my life.
And then right when you are ready to re-enter the world, it's all right there staring
all
at
right
you.
there waiting for you.
Yeah.
We can wish.
Maybe we'll manifest.
We can manifest a fairy godmother.
I love it. Yeah. No, but I don't know if it's, do you think that this is something that you have to either quote unquote believe in?
I think everyone can have their own relationship with this, and I'm sure it can fluctuate over time. I think right now this is very much in alignment with me and is supportive for me in this moment, you know?
It is. It feels like you have a little bit of backing.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not, I mean, I've had like just personal, I've had a really good experience with manifesting, and I feel like that just, you know, makes me want to continue doing it. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't even know where I was going with that. I just feel like
no, well, I do want to say, you know, I think at the end of, you know, actually on New Year's Eve of 2023, I was with Abeera, and it was her idea to kind of write a letter or write down the things that I wanted for myself this year, which I'd actually never done before in that tangible manner. Everything I'd done had been just kind of reflective in my mind, or I wouldn't say I would necessarily journal about it, because if I'm being honest, my journaling practice hasn't been as present in my life.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. I'm a therapist that doesn't journal.
Sue her.
And so there was something about writing it down that was really it was really energizing. I found myself, you know, just really wanting to get as much as I could onto that paper. And then
we also had a little bit of a time crunch because I think we started this like 10 minutes before the new year.
We were minutes before.
Yeah. No, we had to stop. I think you had to stop like midway or something so we could like ring in the new year.
Yeah,
and then
that
you went
actually
back
is
to
true. And then I went back to it because I really was loving it, and I highly recommend. I mean, this was something I had never tried, and
it's like goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I do this with clients all the time where it's like, what is like and I almost like put it into like levels with them too, where I'm like, what's like a level 4 goal of yours? And then like, how do we break it up?
Exactly. And I think that actually reminds me of New Year's resolutions, which I know I think some people have a complicated relationship with because it can, are we in any way setting ourselves up for failure? Are we setting false expectations of ourselves? And then
also why is this like why can't we start these things prior
at any point, which you absolutely can. I will say, and something that is meaningful to me is there is something about at the start of a new year that feels like the reset button, that feels like an excuse. Yeah. Right. To kind of, okay, what do I want to do? Because I don't think we get reminders that frequently throughout the year that we can do this, even though we absolutely can.
Yeah. But it's not, it's not discussed. It's not normalized. And it's something that takes work, right? To reflect on it and acknowledge it. Yeah.
And something that was really refreshing for me that made the concept of New Year's resolutions feel more approachable to me is very much like what you were just saying. When you're setting goals for yourself, making them identifiable, achievable, setting yourself
SMART goals. Some of you may know.
SMART goals. It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's
realistic and timely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And like a good example was, you know, if you want to start going to the gym more, make it as easy for yourself as possible, right?
Get a yoga mat and do it at home.
Get a yoga mat, do it at home. You don't need to be like, I want to be going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. If you're going from not going to the gym at all, you are I'm so sorry to tell you this.
You're not going to the gym anymore.
You're not going to
After
go
a
to the
week.
gym. I mean, I would struggle to even start with that.
Oh yeah.
you know?
I mean, and yeah, there's
and
a
I mean,
lot. Mhm,
there's some
mhm.
people that I do believe that when you set like a big goal, there's some energy, there's excitement, but then the momentum kind of starts to wear down. So you want to
Mhm.
do something of like, I want to read more books this year. Maybe I'm going to read I'm going to spend like 2 months reading one book.
Yeah,
And then you can kind of pick it up as you go and kind of
Yeah.
adjust it as you go.
totally. I agree. Yeah. And I think you ultimately know yourself the best.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't let other people's goals affect yours or inspire yours. I mean, take inspiration, sure, but then like take the time to make it unique for yourself.
Yes, I completely agree with
Yeah.
that. And I think, again, I think we've talked about this before, but comparison again is so natural in our culture. And I think doing something at your own pace and doing things that also make sense for you. I think a lot of people see others setting specific goals for themselves. You do not have to want those things for yourself.
Agreed.
All
All from Lucky Girl Syndrome. Look at that. But, we did talk about believing and not believing in things in this discussion. And I don't know about you, but I have been waiting all week so we could go through the rest of that list that we started last time.
I have too. I had so much fun last time.
And just for those who maybe missed last week's episode, which shame on you, go back and listen. Maybe we pause right here, right now.
Go back.
You go
right
back
now.
and you listen to that first, and then you come back and, rejoin. Because we went through 5 items on this list, which is basically about things that people may or may not believe in, even though there is no proof that these things exist. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me.
Okay. So I think last week we covered things like ghosts, psychic mediums,
Like Bigfoot, mermaids, aliens,
things like that. And this week we're going to go through the last 5 that is on that specific list. And I think there's so much more that we could add to this list if we really wanted to. But for the sake of time and for the sake of convenience, we are going through the specific list that we found online.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Okay. Ayesha, are we ready for this list?
So ready.
Okay. So we left off last time on psychic mediums, which we got into. We spent so much time on this list because I think we just love talking about this stuff.
We had so much to say, and I think genuinely it's just an interesting topic.
Yeah.
At least to me.
And we want to I think we named this last time, but I'm going to name it again right now. If you have any opinions about any of these things on the list, please go to Discord and tell us or something.
Or comment below.
Yeah, because we will read everything.
We want to know what you think.
No, we really do. And for what? I don't know. I think we just really love getting into it. I don't know, whatever. But the next thing is karma.
Ooh, that's a good one. When you hear karma?
Well, I want to know short answer first. Yes or no, do you believe?
Yes.
Okay, same.
What about you? Okay.
Yeah. However, I don't think it always works.
I agree with that. I was going to say, not to toot my own horn, but I like to think I could be
that you're an angel on this earth.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, seriously, I would like to think that I put good energy in the world. So when bad things happen
when
to
people honk at you on the street, you're like, what did I do to deserve this?
Literally took the words out of my mouth. Like, quick example. I have to wash my clothes at the local laundromat, and I'm getting sad thinking about this, but let's take a moment.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace.
Some of my clothes got stolen at the laundromat. And I don't know if anything like that has ever happened to you, but it happened to me. And as I go through each day, I'm discovering things that are missing in my closet. And anyways, it's making me really sad. And is karma?
Ayesha,
Karma, please. Let's do your thing, girl.
wait, interestingly enough, I am and maybe no one cares about this, so I'm going to make it really short, but I'm making a little grief workshop thing for Unrelated, my mom's nonprofit. Shout out, Childhood Matters, non-sponsored. But I learned that you can experience grief from theft.
Wow. Okay, that is really validating to
Yeah,
hear,
so
just because, I mean,
valid.
I'll call myself out. I am a material girl, you know?
Who isn't in this capitalist society? Who is not? Raise your hand.
There's
Stand up.
just the added component that, at least within my own closet, I think there is a handful of, like, let's call them one of a kind, or things I've thrifted or acquired in that way. And so there was some work that went into that,
Yeah.
you know, kind of, it's like a collection of sorts, if you want to go that
Well,
far.
I think there's something to be said, like you just said it, like where you can't go to the nearest H&M and get another one.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to just, again, I'm trying to lean into the gratitude of, hopefully this isn't annoying, but I'm so lucky to have like a closet full of clothing, you know, and I have the ability to buy more clothes if I want.
Sure, but you're still allowed to grieve the loss.
Thanks. So
yeah.
this grief worksheet or workshop, sorry.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, I was just, you know, wanting to pay a little attention to it because
Oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry. We don't have to touch on it. I just wanted to tell you where I got it from, because I don't think
Yeah.
it's often that we, even as therapists, like, I don't think we spend so much time learning about grief and loss. I don't know if that's just maybe our program, but I learned something new from that research. And I was like,
Yeah.
as you're talking about.
No, that feels directly applicable.
Yeah.
to
So,
me.
so
Thank
karma was not.
I hope karma at least kicks in for this event,
Yeah.
because maybe I'll get some good karma the next time we go to a thrift store
And for the
or
person who stole
flea
it,
market. If you were the person that
Mm.
stole my clothes,
zoom in.
I have a message for you. Don't do it again, because it seriously sucks. Like, don't.
She's so sad.
I'm a sad girl hours right now. But back to karma, or, you know, continuing the
Yeah.
you know, conversation with karma. You know,
I like to believe it exists because I think it's a good concept.
Mhm.
And I think it's an inspiring one that can hopefully inspire people to do good in the world.
Right, to kind of, because if there's nothing else there to hold you accountable.
Right. I mean, we should be able to hold ourselves accountable, and maybe, you know, things that have been instilled in society, like, you know, being arrested and things like that should
Mhm.
hopefully help a little bit. But yeah.
Right, because I have a really close friend who had all 4 of her tires stolen recently. I believe, like, off of the, like, her car was parked at her apartment complex, and there's something so violating about
Oh
that.
my God.
And
yeah.
I hope karma is coming to the person who stole these tires, because I was just so devastated for her.
Yeah. That's horrible.
You know, so not us like enlisting or karma to be kind of our, what would the word for it be? Like,
It's on the tip of my tongue. I know what you're talking about.
someone help me out, audience, or not audience, viewers.
Viewers. I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. I think we all know what you mean, Ayesha. We support you. Snaps.
Snaps.
Is anything else about karma, though, that is coming up for you? Or do you want to move on to the next one? Because the next one's interesting.
Karma is my
And they all are.
boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
Should we do a concert? Is that what I'm hearing?
we can.
What's your favorite line from that song? Just kidding. Do you know the song?
I have it saved on my TikTok sounds, and I do listen to it sometimes in the bathroom when I'm brushing my teeth. This is so weird.
I'm so
You don't have
interested to see where this goes.
This is like useless information, but there's some really catchy tunes on TikTok. And so I saved the ones I like. For example, there was
The Bad Bunny.
Stop. Okay, I'll stop there.
There's a Bad Bunny song where he's speaking English. Is it real? Do we know?
I want to say,
or is it AI?
It might be AI, but it's still so good. I feel tears in my eyes a little bit.
We couldn't find it
was-
on Spotify, so we're assuming that it either has not been released yet or it's fake, right?
Yeah, we don't know yet. You know, or there was like that, I'm sure most of you may have seen it, like Justin Bieber's live performance.
Yeah.
Of
Oh my gosh. That was like
Eeny Meeny, is
iconic.
that what it's called?
Yeah.
And so I saved that because I listened to that like 100
So while you're
million
brushing your
times.
teeth, you're listening to TikTok
So-
sounds?
As I brush my teeth, I click or on the various TikTok sounds to hype me up as I start my day or end my day.
Yeah. I love it.
And it's kind of low commitment
And
because
Karma's on there, I'm assuming. I think that's the connection that we were trying to
Karma's
make.
on there. There's a sped up version, a normal version. I should know a lyric.
It's okay. I just wanted
Karma
to see
is a
what your
relaxing thought.
Taylor Swift knowledge was.
Not a lot, sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, same.
Like,
It's fine.
I mean, never mind.
That's a whole discussion.
It's a whole discussion. Let us know if you want to hear our thoughts on Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Or Harry Styles. I can give you my thoughts on Harry
Ooh.
Styles. They're
I
mostly
think
positive.
that would be an interesting one because I do have thoughts on Harry
Spoiler alert.
Styles, and I don't think it is in alignment with yours. So I think that could be a very
Excuse me,
interesting
what?
conversation.
From who? Wait.
From you.
No, but who LOL. I think I was talking over you, so I didn't hear what you said.
So you said, you know, you could give your thoughts on Harry Styles, or
Yeah.
mostly positive
Yeah.
ones. And I'm like, well, if I'm here involved in that conversation, it could be an interesting one because
Debate.
dot.
Would you like to watch us do a full-on live debate?
I would be into that.
Like the episode, rate and follow if you would. Anyway, the next one is intuition.
Ooh, I need a moment with that. I mean, not that it's an immediate yes or no. I'm just like, when you say intuition, kind of,
I think of Pisces.
gut feelings.
Do you think of Pisces when you hear intuition?
I can see that. You know, if I had to assign a sign to intuition, I would also go with Pisces. Do you know I was supposed to be a Pisces? I was like due in March.
Yeah.
And I was born end of January.
Well, good thing. Well, you're very early.
I was 3 pounds.
Wait, you were like a preemie.
I was a preemie. I lived in the hospital for like a month without my parents. That's where my trauma stems from. Just kidding.
Why am I just now finding out about this?
I was 3 pounds.
Do you have pics with like tubes and stuff?
My dad actually, I don't know if any of you care about this, but in case you do, my dad actually happened to be working at the hospital I was born at. And he was, I don't know.
Nepo baby.
No, literally. And I don't know what he was doing, like what his job was, but he had to do something with like the other babies in this unit I was in. And like, he would just be like, oh, hey girl, to me while like tending to
Actually, what is the story?
my baby neighbor. This is as it has been recounted to me, of course, with my own language. I doubt my dad has ever said, hey girl, in his life.
Wait, so the whole story was that your dad worked at the hospital and would like come in and say hi to you?
But he would be like tending to a baby next to me.
Okay.
But not there for me, but would be like,
Oh,
hey.
I see. Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
I was confused.
I was discharged when I hit 4 pounds.
Okay, weightlifter.
I know.
It's giving, what do they call like the wrestlers when they get into like the weight classes? You know, like when.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what. Wait,
Yeah.
I think it's weight classes.
That's what I said. Wait, when they get into like certain weight classes, like
that was
they're like
me.
trying
I
to bulk
upgraded.
up.
I was ready for my next opponent at that point.
I would love to watch preemie Ayesha wrestling another preemie.
You know what's funny though? There's a handful of photos with me and my sister who's like a year younger than me. And like she's like fully like tackling me onto the ground.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, okay, that was
Pisces.
Pisces.
Intuition. We are working our way back.
Intuition. So when you think of intuition, if we want to like kind of like give a definition for it, would you say kind of like the gut feeling you have?
It says call it gut feeling or intuition. We believe that sometimes a sixth sense provides us a silent guidance.
I believe it. Do you have like,
Oh yeah. Do I have what?
you know, like
I thought you were just asking if I believe in it. I said, yeah.
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 And then beyond believing in it, like, do you have personal experience with kind of utilizing your own intuition?
I don't know if it's intuition or if I'm just really decisive sometimes. Keyword
Okay.
on sometimes.
Like, I wonder if intuition can kind of tie in with self-trust in any way. You know, that like there's something, maybe it's not a tangible thing, but there's something internally that can guide you.
Yeah.
You know, and call it what you want. I think we all have it.
I think that there's a lot of connectedness with intuition and psychic.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that thing be compared before. I don't think that if I've ever tapped into my oh my God, so many words. I don't think if I've tapped into intuition that I've tapped into me being psychic. I think they're separate for me.
Oh yeah. I would say, yeah, because even though I believe I have intuition myself, right? How much do I tap into it? That's another thing. But I don't think I'm a psychic by any means.
No. But I do have weird situations sometimes where like I'll call somebody like, and this happened a lot with my partner when like we didn't live together, and I'd be like, hey, are you home? He's like, I'm pulling up right now.
I think that happens with me and my partner too as well. Like, I forget how it goes, but I think I will call him and he will say like, this was actually the best moment you could have called me.
Yeah.
And that's happened
It's like
enough
coincidence, but it's like, maybe it's not.
Right. Because it's happened enough times where I'm like, interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. So anyway, I'd like to believe that maybe there's something there, but I don't truly identify strongly with the psychic part.
I think that's a tricky one, you know, because it's so intangible that it's like, how do we like locate this within our own lives?
Totally. They're not like aliens.
They're not like aliens.
The next one is also intangible. To use that word again, it's fate.
Fate.
Would you like me to throw some more
elaborate?
words out there? Okay. So everything happens for a reason. I think that's like it's like the biggest part of like their explanation of it. What comes up for you when you hear that? Because that gets thrown around a lot. I feel like.
I know recently I had a full stance on this, and in this moment I'm like, what was that? Because I know at least a certain point in time, I fully believed, 100% that everything happened for a reason. And then I think I came across something that made me want to like look at that in a different way, but I don't remember.
Was it like current events?
I think it really may have been like partially
like just like a lot of bad things happening, maybe.
Current events. Why do bad things happen to good people? You know, the state of the world.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that made me kind of take a little bit of a step back. And at the same time,
there's something, sorry, if I'm going to make you lose your thought, you can go ahead.
No, I think there's something that can be comforting about everything happens for a reason.
I'm dying. I was just going to tell you that.
No, and I could feel it. Like am I psychic? I read your mind.
I feel like that. No,
I knew you were going to say that.
Just like I was going to say that.
I knew, I knew you were going to say it. So I just said it.
Wow. I have goosebumps. Do you believe in goosebumps? I'm sorry. Yeah, but I agree. I think that there is something so comforting, and like it's almost like that like ignorance is bliss kind of approach where it's like, yep, I'm going to leave it up to the universe. Like, you know, yeah. That's kind of where I think that's because the short answer for me is, yeah, I believe in it. I think that's why I believe in it is because almost like it's just easier to let go of some control in that way.
I agree. You know, if everything happens for a reason, we can almost...
It also instills hope.
Right. And I think I'm like trying to debate if I want to go a little dark with this, but I know something my mom told me when I was younger, like I think I was in high school, but she said, when you wake up late or you're running late for school or you're kind of getting so angry at yourself,
like you avoided something.
You might have avoided something bad that might have happened to you. Like I think she gave, she had a story of, I don't know if I'm going to get this right, but she was stuck in some abnormal traffic, right? And getting really irritated about it because she had somewhere to be. And she got to this intersection that she would have crossed a lot sooner had there not been any traffic. And there was, I believe, a major car accident that had happened, and I think there's so many examples of this.
I think I've heard a few of those too. And I think regardless of whether or not that's true, I think, sorry to be a therapist right now, but it also, again, kind of throws out that gratitude piece a little bit too, where it's like you being 20 minutes late to something isn't the worst thing that can happen. And we should be grateful for that. That's all that happened.
Exactly. And even in the event that being 20 minutes late did not avoid some life-altering, horrific event, we don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's any way of, I don't know what this did for me, but I can keep at the back of my mind that there may have been a reason.
Yeah. I love that. I think that feels very like wholesome to me.
Or, even to take maybe a more positive spin on it, the butterfly effect, if you've heard of that, which I don't know if I can give you a great definition of that right now, but essentially, like,
I've heard of it. Maybe I do know what it is, but if you can give me some insight.
Like a series of events that happened in a certain way. Like if I was not born where I was born and didn't go to the school and then didn't move here, like I wouldn't have met this person.
Is that the same thing as like the invisible string theory or whatever that's being thrown around TikTok?
I'm not sure. I'm not as familiar with it.
It's kind of like right person, wrong time, but you reconnect later. Like also kind of like
I'm sure that sounds related.
It seems like they're connected, but maybe not the same thing.
Yeah. So, to tie it into this, I think being 20 minutes late means you run into somebody somewhere that you would not have met.
Which a friend of ours from the cohort kind of experienced in meeting her partner.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. And now they've like been in a relationship for years at this point. Yeah. They're like the cutest couple. You know who you are.
We're still not saying names until we get okays from people. So
yeah,
sorry,
but we love
anonymous.
You guys. And so I think that's like, so that's almost the positive spin on everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's beautiful. Siri just decided to turn on for whatever reason. Anyway, yeah.
So to me, that feels complete.
So we have 2 more left. I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Okay.
So I think we can approach them together and we can go surface, we can go deep, depending on how we're feeling.
Okay.
Because I know we have been also at this for quite some time. So we don't want to make this a super long episode for you guys to listen to either. But the last 2 are religious text and God, which we can kind of sum up as maybe religion if we want.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
I feel like if you guys are interested, like we could do a bigger episode on this and kind of
let us
do
know.
a deeper dive. But at least for now, I mean, if we just want to talk about our general stance of that, we can. I don't know. Ayesha, how are you feeling?
Yeah. I mean, I think to sum it up, to say it briefly, I do believe in God. I know actually recently Abeera and I were having a conversation about whether, let's call it Bible stories for, simplicity. Like,
yeah, like
Bible,
from the Abrahamic religions specifically.
Yeah. So
right?
like Noah's Ark, maybe Adam and Eve, stuff like that. Like whether or not we believe in it.
We're trying to challenge some things.
We were on opposing sides for sure. I
don't know if I have a side though. That's another thing. I think this goes into a deeper dive where it's like, I'm just curious.
Okay. So maybe I was like overgeneralizing. I can't say that. Because I was kind of like, I believe in them. You don't. And that kind of isn't giving you enough credit.
No, but it could be right. I mean, I'm not holding such a strong stance in any way.
Like, I believe that one prophet was fully swallowed by a whale.
Which I'm not familiar with this story, so I don't feel like I have the right to even speak on it.
Can we find a kid's book about this story? Because I think
if it's not biased, Yeah.
No, I was just saying because you love whales, and I wonder if this could be a fun story for you.
Yeah. No, I'm genuinely interested to like know about these things. But to go back to the list, I also do think I believe in God, and I feel like that it's more, I'm using this terminology because that's what I learned this stuff as, but I think the way I practice spirituality and religion is very much my own now, which was it was like a huge journey of mine. So that's why like I feel like I could talk about this for like so long.
I definitely could as well. So
And we have.
You know, and I think my relationship with my faith has fluctuated my entire life, you know, and I think mostly from a place of, call it like insecurity, being a Muslim in the United States.
Yeah.
And I think I've come to a point in my life where I feel really solid in my identity as like a Muslim woman. And if you have any questions for
either of us, yeah. I think it's also interesting because it's like redefining what being Muslim means, especially given a lot of the values that we have and what we believe in and what we want the world to look like. And we just want it to be a safe and happy place for everybody. And I think there's so much rhetoric out there that gets thrown into these topics that I don't know. It's very complex, but happy to go into it because I feel very secure in it now. But yeah, I think that's maybe how we tap into it for today.
Yeah. Can I share though something with you on the topic of Muslim women, Women's History Month, changing the world?
Absolutely. Sounds beautiful.
So my mom met the Malala, which if you don't know who Malala is, you should look her up. She's like this really amazing young woman who was, I believe, the youngest person to ever win the Nobel Peace Prize. And
sounds right. Can't fact check that right now, but
is our Pakistani queen. And my mom got to meet her and was actually seated next to her at this event and told her about me. And so Malala freaking knows that I exist. And there was something about that
nothing can top that.
Nothing can top that. And then my mom brought her book, I Am Malala, to the event, right? In hopes that like, oh, if there was a chance she got to like meet her, which seated right next to her, you can't get better than that. Yeah. And so Malala left me and my siblings a handwritten note in which it said to go out there and change the world. And Malala, I am doing this for you.
Yes.
If you're listening.
Yeah. If you are in LA and you want to talk to two 20-somethings
as a fellow
about anything and everything.
Yeah, as a fellow Pakistani 20-something, we would love to have you.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that. Just
manifest.
On the topic of manifestation.
Lucky girl syndrome.
Lucky girl syndrome. That just felt like a fun little
I love that
cool
tie-in.
Thing that happened.
That's so cool. So fun. Should we do a quick tarot time to end us?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. I'll shuffle and you get to read the card this time.
Okay. So Abeera's gonna start shuffling. I wonder what we're gonna get this time. All right, let's get those shuffled up and see if anything pops out.
This is like
There's
sharks. Okay.
Okay, here's your mic. I'll read it.
Oh yes, thank you. For those of you who are wondering, I don't like to read these out loud because I get nervous and I stutter.
I do too. Okay, let's see. It says persistent.
We'll show you the card after if you have the video component.
Persistent drive. See what you desire and move toward that goal. It is time to zero in on your purpose. Use your intuition and instincts to guide you for the optimal outcome.
Shut up.
Oh my God. So
the way
should I read it one more time?
Let's read it one more time and then we'll give it to the camera.
I'm doing this mostly for myself because the first time I read it, I'm so like, I'm zeroed in on not stumbling that I don't really hear it.
Yeah.
So for me, bear with me. See what you desire and move toward that goal.
Yes. which we talked about goals today.
We did.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It is time to zero in on your purpose.
Purpose. Okay.
Use your intuition and instincts to guide you for the optimal outcome.
Whew. Okay. And I'm going to give the card to our producers to show into the camera as well. Okay. Wow. I feel like this is kind of related to the first episode that we had where we were kind of talking about like claim what's yours and like it's giving that same vibe.
Even today with like setting intention,
yeah,
right? And like going after zeroing in on what we want in our lives, and that we have to you kind of have to do something about it if you want something.
Yeah. I mean, not to like give us like a cop out, but like, or I don't know if a cop out is the right terminology.
I'm reading your mind right now.
Where it's like, do we even talk about this? Because I feel like we already talked about this.
Our entire episode, I think, revolved around this card.
Not you knowing what I was gonna say again.
I'm a psychic.
But yeah, I mean, let's end it on that. I mean, you heard it in another perspective, but it's essentially, I feel like, so related
it's
to
such
what
a
we talked
perfect
about.
closer.
I love it.
You know?
And let's just talk about these beautiful, what are they? They just look like, I don't know if these are like actual stripes on the sharks or if that's just the reflection.
The light.
Yeah.
It might be the light.
Okay, then I can't necessarily place what kind of sharks these are. But they're so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, sharks are my biggest fear. We can thread that because I think that could be an interesting topic.
Yeah, because I need to unpack that with you because I'm like, why?
Okay.
But anyway.
Well,
thank you so
much for joining us. Yes. We have so much fun being able to talk to you guys. And
please utilize all of our platforms and just go straight into them and like type whatever you want. Like, I want to get some conversations started. Take from this list that we talked about today. Talk about your lucky girl syndrome, lucky boy syndrome, lucky however you identify syndrome. And yeah, we'll respond.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. We have a Discord channel with different like topic rooms that we made, and we're very excited about it.
And if you have any suggestions on other rooms that you would like to see, let us know.
Yeah, so like go check it out. Let us know what you think. We have a debrief episode section because we really want to really take what you guys think into account.
Yeah.
So on that note,
love you guys so much.
Thank you for being with us.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye. Yeah.
Yeah. Although we cover themes of mental health, Girl Are You Okay is not a substitute for therapy or mental health services. Also, thank you to our co-producers, Geb and Eric.